I was halfway through my third coffee when the door to our office slammed open and in walked the man who would ruin my week and maybe, in some twisted way, save my life. He looked like trouble wrapped in an expensive suit, with the kind of smirk that made you want to punch him or kiss him, depending on the day. Unfortunately, I had no idea yet which one I'd choose. It was supposed to be a simple Tuesday. My coworker Jenna had been talking for months about her fiancé. Cold, mysterious, a little too good-looking for his own good. And we all assumed he was the kind of alpha you only saw in romance novels. But the moment he walked in, eyes locking on me like I just walked into his territory, I knew two things. He was every bit as dangerous as she'd said, and he was looking at me, not her. The first time his voice hit my ears, I thought it was a joke. "You must be the infamous Ethan," he said, leaning against my desk like he owned the place. "And you must be lost." I shot back, refusing to look up from my computer. I wish I could say I was unaffected, but the truth was, every cell in my body seemed to be screaming in recognition. The scent, the posture, the irritating confidence. Alpha. A young one, maybe late 20s, far too self-assured for someone I just met. Over the next week, he found every excuse to hover coffee breaks. Late nights, even pretending to drop off things Jenna had forgotten. The teasing was relentless. He'd make some comment about my tie being crooked and then lean in way too close to fix it. Or he'd whisper something so infuriatingly ambiguous that I'd spend hours trying to decide if it was an insult or a flirt. It wasn't until Friday night that I learned the truth. Jenna and I were the last ones in the office when she got a call. She laughed into the phone, then handed it to me. "It's for you," she said. I frowned. "For me?" The voice on the other end was low, amused. "Meet me downstairs." When I stepped outside, there he was, no suit, just a leather jacket and that same reckless smile. "About time you figured it out," he said. "Figured what out?" I asked. "That I'm not Jenna's fiancé. Never was. But I am yours if you stop pretending you don't feel this too." My breath caught. I hated him for the way my pulse raced, hated him for making the world feel smaller, like it only existed in the space between us. But I hated lying to myself even more. The weeks that followed were a mess of push and pull. He'd show up at my door unannounced, bringing takeout like it was the most natural thing in the world. We'd argue about everything: politics, music, whose turn it was to wash the dishes, and somehow end up pressed against the counter, breathing each other in like oxygen. But it wasn't all heat. There were nights when I'd wake to find him tracing the lines of my hand with his fingers, quiet, almost afraid. I learned he'd been burned before, that his bravado was a shield he wore because letting anyone too close meant giving them the power to hurt him. And I knew, deep down, I was no better. The breaking point came on a rainy Thursday. I'd been working late, too stubborn to answer his texts. When I finally got home, he was there, drenched from the storm, eyes darker than I'd ever seen them. "You can't keep shutting me out," he said. "You think you're protecting yourself, but all you're doing is making sure we both lose." I don't know what changed in me, but something cracked. I pulled him in, rain soaking my shirt, and kissed him like I'd been drowning for months. And maybe I had. By winter, the teasing hadn't stopped, but it had softened. We learned each other's rhythms, our silences, our tells. He'd still mess with me, still push my buttons, but now it ended in laughter instead of slammed doors. One night, curled together on the couch, he murmured, "You know, for someone who thought I was Jenna's cold fiancé, you've gotten awfully attached." I smiled against his chest. "And for someone who couldn't stop teasing me, you've gotten awfully gentle." The truth was, he still scared Menet because of what he might do, but because of how much I stood to lose if I let him go. But maybe that's what love is. Letting yourself be terrified and doing it anyway. And as his fingers laced with mine, I realized the fear had started to feel a lot like home. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.